What would you do if you had to survive on your own for a month, or even a year? Imagine the power grid fails or a natural disaster strikes, leaving you isolated with no immediate help in sight. That's when disaster preparedness becomes critical. It's not just about having a plan, it's about having the right resources, and one of the most vital resources is food. But not just any food. We're talking about long-lasting foods that can be stored for extended periods, providing essential nutrients to keep you going when the chips are down. This topic is not only relevant to those who identify as preppers, but also to anyone interested in survival skills, or simply being prepared for unexpected situations. Understanding the types of food to stockpile, their shelf life, and the best methods to store them can make a world of difference in a crisis. As we delve into this subject, remember this. Knowing what foods to stockpile and how to store them properly can be a lifesaver in a disaster situation. Not all foods are created equal when it comes to long-term storage and survival. This couldn't be more true as we delve into the importance of food choices in planning for disaster scenarios. The criteria for selecting long-lasting foods revolve around 3 key factors. First, shelf life. The longer the better. Foods that can last for years, even decades, are your best bets. Second, nutritional value. You want foods that are high in essential nutrients, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Lastly, ease of preparation. In a disaster scenario, you may not have access to your usual cooking facilities or may need to conserve energy, so foods that require minimal preparation are ideal. Conversely, it's essential to avoid certain foods. Those with high moisture content or foods that spoil quickly can be more of a liability than an asset in your stockpile. Choosing the right foods to stockpile can mean the difference between survival and disaster. Now let's dive into the top 5 long-lasting foods you should have in your disaster stockpile. First up, we have canned goods. When it comes to longevity, canned foods are a true champion. Most canned goods can last anywhere from 2 to 5 years. However, it's not just about their durability. Canned goods also offer a wide range of nutrients. From canned fruits and veggies to meats and soups, these items provide essential vitamins and proteins. Just ensure they're stored in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. Next on our list are dried beans. These little powerhouses are not only rich in protein and fiber, but they also have a remarkable shelf life. If stored correctly, dried beans can last up to 10 years. The key is to keep them in a dry, airtight container away from light and heat. Coming in at number 3, we have rice. White, jasmine, or basmati rice can last around 4 to 5 years when stored properly. They offer a great source of energy-boosting carbohydrates. Remember to store rice in a cool, dry place and seal it tightly to keep out pests and moisture. Fourth on our list is pasta. Dry pasta can last up to 2 years. It's a versatile food that can be used in a variety of meals, providing a good source of carbohydrates. Just like with rice, you'll want to store pasta in a cool, dry location in an airtight container. And finally, we have honey. Honey is a real wonder of nature. It can last indefinitely if stored right. It's a great source of natural sugars and can be used as a sweetener or even a topical antiseptic in a pinch. Store it in a tightly sealed glass jar in a cool area. These 5 foods offer a solid foundation for any disaster stockpile. They are long-lasting, nutritious, and when stored properly, they can be your lifeline in a disaster scenario. So if you haven't started your stockpile yet, these 5 are a great place to start. We're not done yet. Here are 5 more long-lasting foods to round out your disaster preparedness pantry. First up, we have powdered milk. This remarkable product can last up to 2 decades if stored properly. It's a great source of calcium and vitamins, and all you need is water to rehydrate it. Keep it in a cool, dark place, and consider using a vacuum sealer for added longevity. Next on our list are dehydrated fruits and vegetables. Not only do they retain a majority of their nutritional value, but they also have a shelf life of up to 10 years. Just add water, and you've got a tasty and nutritious side dish or snack. Store them in airtight containers away from light and heat. Jerky is another excellent choice. It's rich in protein, doesn't require refrigeration, and can last up to 2 years. But remember, once opened, it should be consumed within a week or so. Keep it sealed in its original packaging until you're ready to eat it. Whole grains are a must-have. They're packed with fiber and can last for years if stored correctly. Whole wheat berries, brown rice, and oats are all good options. Store them in airtight containers in a cool, dark place. And don't forget, you'll need a grain mill or a way to cook these grains. Finally, we have canned meats. They're high in protein and can last between 2 to 5 years. Tuna, chicken, and ham are popular choices. Just be sure to store them in a cool, dry place, and check the cans regularly for any signs of bulging or leakage. With these 10 foods in your stockpile, you'll be well prepared for any disaster situation. While it's crucial to know what to stockpile, it's equally important to understand what not to store. So let's dive into the types of foods you should avoid in your disaster stockpile. First on the list are perishable items. Foods like fruits, vegetables, and dairy products have a short shelf life and can spoil quickly without refrigeration. These items are not suitable for long-term storage and can lead to food poisoning if consumed past their expiration dates. Next up, avoid foods that require refrigeration. It might sound obvious, but in the event of a disaster, power outages are a common occurrence and fridges become useless. Foods like raw meat, fish, and certain dairy products can spoil quickly at room temperature, creating a health hazard. Now, let's talk about foods that can cause bloating or gas. In a crisis situation, you want to be as comfortable as possible, and foods that cause digestive discomfort are a big no-no. Foods like beans, lentils, broccoli, and cabbage are notorious for causing bloating and gas. While they are nutritious, they can cause discomfort, and in a disaster scenario, you want to minimize any potential discomfort. Another category to avoid is foods with high salt content. These can cause excessive thirst, which can be a problem if your water supply is limited. Foods like chips, canned soups, and processed meats are often high in sodium and can make you more dehydrated. Lastly, steer clear of foods that are hard to prepare. In a disaster situation, you might not have access to a fully functional kitchen, and foods that require extensive preparation or cooking could be more of a burden than a benefit. By avoiding these categories of food in your disaster stockpile, you can ensure that you have a supply of nutritious, long-lasting, and easy-to-prepare foods that will keep you and your family safe and healthy during a crisis. Remember, the goal of a disaster stockpile is to provide sustenance and comfort during an emergency, not to add to your problems. Steer clear of these foods in your disaster stockpile to avoid potential problems down the line. Let's recap the key points we've covered today on stockpiling long-lasting foods for disaster preparedness. In the face of a disaster or a nuclear war, having a stockpile of long-lasting foods is a vital part of your survival plan. The foods you choose for your stockpile should meet certain criteria. They should be non-perishable, nutrient-dense, and easy to prepare. Additionally, they should be foods that you and your family enjoy eating, as maintaining morale in a survival situation is crucial. We've listed the top 10 foods to stockpile, all of which meet these criteria. They are canned meats, dried beans, white rice, honey, powdered milk, pasta, salt, canned vegetables and fruits, and peanut butter. Not only do these foods have a long shelf life, they also provide a balanced diet, covering all the necessary food groups and providing essential vitamins and minerals. Canned meats, for instance, can last up to 5 years if stored properly. They provide necessary protein and can be eaten straight from the can. Dried beans and white rice, on the other hand, can last indefinitely if kept dry and away from pests. They are excellent sources of carbohydrates and fiber. Honey is a natural sweetener that never spoils, while powdered milk provides necessary calcium and vitamin D. Pasta, another excellent source of carbohydrates, can last up to 2 years. Salt, a necessary mineral, can last indefinitely. Canned vegetables and fruits can last up to 2 years and provide necessary vitamins and fiber. And finally, peanut butter is a great source of protein and healthy fats and can last up to 5 years. However, not all foods are suitable for your survival stockpile. We've mentioned a few to avoid, including brown rice due to its shorter shelf life, and canned goods containing high amounts of sodium. Remember, preparation is the key to survival. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay informed.